السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
وعليكم السلام.
اوكي شباب، ان شاء الله اليوم تكونوا جاهزين شوي ومراجعين يعني اللي سويناه قبل. Just to remind you of what we did in this chapter, in chapter 5. We talked about mutually exclusive projects. Mutually exclusive projects, I need to select one and only one project among different alternatives. What are those different alternatives? It will be giving to us, like what we are seeing in front of us here now. In this chapter, first of all, we calculate present worth analysis based on present worth analysis. In chapter 6, inshallah, we'll see, or we'll go through annual worth analysis, and chapter 7, rate of return analysis. We'll start first with this present worth analysis. That's what we started with for the mutually exclusive projects. Then, inshallah, we'll go through the independent projects for present worth analysis. Now, in chapter 5, what we covered when we calculate the present worth, the first thing that I've mentioned, and it's mentioned in the chapter here, in the slides, in the book, that you need to look first of all for a number of lives, or for the lives of the alternative. If they are of equal lives, directly you can find the PW for each one. Then to compare between them and to select between the alternatives based on your calculation for the present worth. But if it is of different life alternatives, i.e. n, they are not equal. If nothing mentioned to you and you need to find the present worth or the future worth, talking about present worth or future worth, always the same condition, the same procedure. So whenever we say present worth or the condition for the present worth, it's exactly the same as the future worth. I mean the conditions that you need to look for a number or for lives. If they are of unequal lives, what you need to do, something called the LCM. Least common multiple. Least common multiple, i.e. to repeat the cycles again and again to make it equal for all alternatives. To repeat cycles based on what? That's what we call the LCM. You need to specify it clearly. What is that LCM? How much is that LCM? Then to draw the cash flow diagram based on that. But if something else mentioned to you, to calculate based on the study horizon or the study period, the study period. In there, you need to either to repeat cycles or just to cut cycles over the specified period. They're the two things under unequal lives. After that, we have seen this CC, capitalized cost, for what? For infinite life. If we have an infinite life, or sometimes they call it forever. Life is too large, more than 100 years, sometimes 100 years or more. Sometimes just by saying forever, we're going to consider it infinity. We know nothing is infinity. But in our calculation, we're going to consider it like that. Why? Because anything after this, it will be negligible. To find the capitalized cost, it's equal to what? CC equal to what?
A over I.
Thank you, Lubna. A over I. What is this CC? Actually, this is the present worth, but for what? When n approaches infinity. When n approaches infinity, and instead of saying present worth, we'll write it capitalized cost. That capitalized cost, it can be at year 0 or whatever year, when we have an infinite annuity. One to the left of it, we're going to have a capitalized cost. It can be at year 0 or whatever year to that 0. So that capitalized cost later on, it can be a single amount. A single amount, a future value, we can find the P for it. Say at year 10, year 20, whatever year. To convert the annuity, and which is the forever annuity, into a single payment, which you call it, or we call it CC, capitalized cost, then we can use that as a single payment to find the P. Let's see this example, which I already told you to go through. I don't know whether you practiced or not. I believe you did it. خلينا ناخذ بالحسن النية. 2 large scale debts are under consideration. مشروعين كبار under consideration by a large municipal utility district. The first alternative now. Talk about the first alternative, which is in green here. طبعا ما بكون عندكم الوان later on. You are not going to see in colors. The first alternative, alternative 1, which is what? Construction of a steel pipeline. لنقل المياه هنا. Construction of a steel pipeline. The first cost equal to negative 125 million. In the calculation, you need to write the full number. But in the standard notation, just to write it like 225 mm, which is million. Secondly, portion of the pipeline. Portions. أجزاء من البايبلاين will have to be replaced every 40 years. أجزاء من اللاين هذه كل 40 سنة بيبدلونها. يعني ما بدلون اللاين كامل. This is a single payment in every 40 years. Single payment in every 40 years. i.e., we can have it in year 40, year 80, year 120, 160, 200. When you're going to stop, we don't know. Why? Because this is an infinite or forever projects. How do you know it's forever projects? Just wait, because we are going to see it in here. Because I believe that you already read that scenarios here. The pumping and operating cost. Pumping and operating cost are expected to be 10 millions per year. يعني سنويا, here the annuity, $10 million yearly. For how long? It says, I'm going to skip that one, the second alternative, just to tell you what in that. If both contracts are expected to last forever. وهذه دائما في المشاريع الكبيرة. Always with a big projects. It's like that. Say, for example, the pipelines for transporting water from stations to the main tanks. Those pipes are there for decades. Now it's more than 40 years. The crude oil, the petrol, transferring from Saudi Arabia to Bahrain to Babco. You can see it in Rafah. That pipeline is more than 70 or 80 years now. And still, it can survive more than that, double of this time. Parts of it can be replaced. Like what they are doing here, every 40 years, for example. Let us see the first part. Let's see the first part, how to plot it now. What do we have? In year 0, $225 million did the first cost. I'm not going to do all that numbering here. I can write just year 40. We have the first maintenance or replaced, a major shutdown, major replacement, an overhaul. till 40 سنة. How much is that? 50 million. So in year 40, same thing will be repeated in year 80. Again, it will be repeated in year 120 and so forth. I'm not going to write them all. This up to infinity. And second thing, the cost are expected to be 10 million per year, starting from year 1 till the infinity. 10 millions. Now what we need to do is to solve for those two. Let's say that, let's do the second one. What do we have in here for this problem? At year 0, it's a 350 million. Alternatively, a gravity flow canal can be constructed at a cost of 350 million. So the cost here, the first cost at year 0, 350 million. Maintenance and operation or operating cost. Always whenever you see this M and O, it means maintenance and operating costs. Even without saying it's a cost, we know that is a cost. For the canal, in a بس يسوون قناة, are expected to be 0.5 millions per year, starting from year 1 till how long? Infinity. $500,000. The annuity. What's required from both of them is to find, for that, the present worth. Let's call this a pipe, constructing a pipe, and here present worth for the canal. C. This is easy to solve. Can anyone tell me how to solve this one? To find the present worth for the second alternative for the canal.
أقول دكتور
Minus. Yes, Lubna. You said minus. Minus
350 million. 350 million.
Yes.
Minus 500. No, half million.
500,000. Yes, it's 500,000
Over 0.1.
over 0.1. Any? We don't have to write 500,000 be giving A 10%. N, it's infinity. Since it's infinity, we don't have to write it. Directly, you can substitute into this. So that will equal to what? Negative 355 million. فالجواب ما تبي تعطون. Okay. Come to the first one. Come to the first question here. to find the W present worth for P, the pipeline, constructing a pipeline, will equal to what? We have exactly the same. For the first one, negative 225 million, 25 millions. We have that annuity minus $10 million divided by, always need to show the interest at the top of any cash flow diagram. 0.1. What to do with that 50? And don't forget that we have it in year 160. We're going to have it here 200, 240, and so forth. What to do with that 50 million?
بنحولها حق annuity أول.
What annuity? Which one of them you are going to convert into annuity?
أول واحدة حق 40 years.
Minus, okay, give me the standard notation for this, because you are going to convert a single payment for annuity, so you need to show a standard notation. 50 million.
50 million. A given F.
A given
10%.
F. 10%.
40 years.
40 years. Thank you, Lubna. What about the second one now, Lubna? What will happen to it? ما في حد قاعد مشارك إلا لبنى هني بس. What will happen to the second one?
هو لأنه بيكون infinity فنقسمه على 0.1. الستاندرد notation.
Which means what? The same annuity. Now, let me put it in other color. The same annuity here that she convert them into an annuity here will be repeated again for this, and again for this, and again for the rest. So it will be a continuous annuity. So all that is going to disappear, like having a continuous annuity starting from year 1. By doing what? This. A given F, I, and that in which year? When you do this, when it says every certain number of years, and we have that forever. If it's every certain number of years and it's forever, which means converting just one of those into a single or into an annuity for a single payment is going to be repeated for the rest. Believe me. I'm saying this now. وانتم بتكونوا شهود بعد على بيصير عقب. Later on in the assessment, believe me, some of the students, this is always مو انت وبس. وايد من الطلبه كل سمستر احنا نعيد هاي نفس الشيء، وهذه القاعده موجوده مالتها. To convert A giving F, that's it. بيصير تأليف وبتشوفون شنو التأليفات لها later on. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to show you what will happen inshallah later on. So what you are going to do with this now? After we convert it into a single into an annuity forever. Now this is yes.
Divide by 0.1.
Divide by 0.1. Why? Because this is A now over I. Because we said CC equal to A over I. مو شرط ان يلكم straight forward. مو بشرط ان يلكم السؤال straight forward. No, you can have it in different form. This is one of the forms to have it when they say it every 40 years. Now it was very clear here when they said have to be replaced كل 40 سنة. كل 40 سنة is going to be replaced forever. The companies, the plants, the industries, they are using something else, the word shutdown. You may heard about this word or this phrase, shutdown. A few years back, GPIC, they closed half of their plant to do a major shutdown, and that was after 20 years of continuous running. بعد 20 سنة من continuous running, they did a shutdown. And in their plan is to repeat it again and again in every 20 years. The word shut down. إذا لو واحد قال لا بس إنه قالوها مرة واحدة بس. That shutdown happened only once in every in year 20. If it's being said only once, so that's what to do with it, just to bring it to time 0. P given F directly over 40 years. You don't have to show that annuity. But because we have in every this much of years to be repeated, that's why you are converting into الانويتي A given F. مصطلح ثاني.
دكتور
يس لبنان.
دائما الفترة تكون نفسها.
إذا كانت نفس الفترة يس. ما بيجي يقول والله السنة 40 صار عندنا شت داون، سنة 25 صار شت داون، سنة 30 55 صار شت داون. There's different periods. If they are of different periods, we cannot do annuity like what we did in here. So what to do with it? Just to bring it to time 0, bring it to time 0, bring it to time 0. But if it is said in every this much of years, no. Like what you did now, you need to convert it into annuity, and that annuity will be forever. في السيارات, you are doing a regular maintenance, service, changing oil, filter, plugs, whatever. This is a regular thing. That regular maintenance, say for example every كل سنة. Why you may do it 2-3 times a year, but to collect them it will be yearly. That operating maintenance, it will be yearly. A shutdown, whenever you reach 100,000, you need to do a shutdown, a major overhaul, to change what? Change spark plugs, change brakes, whatever things like timing belt. I'm not going to go deeply inside the engine to change some of the seals. And that will be every 100,000. Theoretically, they said every 100,000, which is every 5 years. So in every 5 years, you need to do a major shutdown or an overhaul. Now, of what we have in here now, the solution for the second one, for the first one, constructing a pipe. And this is the solution which we did it together for the canal, to construct or to build that canal. القناة. Between those two, which one to select?
Pipeline, Doctor.
Pipe.
To construct the pipeline. Construct the pipeline. That's correct. But Shabab, don't forget to justify why. Because the cost of a pipeline is less than the cost of constructing or building that canal. Diamond justification has to be there. Build the pipeline. This is all for this chapter. Inshallah, later on next week, we'll do something just to return back to the study period. We mentioned something about study period, but we'll practice inshallah next week. Now we'll start. First of all, is there any question for the chapter 5? Is there any question? If not, I'm going to start the new chapter here, chapter 12. And by the way, we can finish it in one slide. And you're going to see that slide. From the name here, selection from independent projects and their budget limitation. Independent projects and their budget limitation. Remember when we said before that we're going to have 2 types of projects. Mutually exclusive project, sorry, mutual exclusive projects where we can calculate the present worth, future worth. The first one, this is in chapter 5. In chapter 6, the annual worth. In chapter 7, the rate of return. That's for mutually exclusive project. I either select only one project. But what about if we have budget? If we have budget, we have a resource. One. جايز عشان راح الارسال انقطع النت شوي. شباب وياه ولا لا؟
وياك
Yes,
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
yes.
جاوبوا شباب زين. خلكم الاسبوع الجاي بكم كلكم تجون الجامعه، لا حد يقعد في البيت، كلكم تعالوا الجامعه. Okay. Independent project. This is the second type. If you have budget to select, you need to select so many projects within that or to cover it from that budget. That's what we call independent projects. Based on what? Present worth analysis. So to find for the first project, second project, third project, fourth, fifth, i.e. that they are not alternatives. Now here they are not alternatives. We cannot call them alternatives because they are not competing between each other. ما ينافسون بعض. We can select 2 or 3 or 4 to be within the budget. Why it's only present worth? Because still you have not spent a penny. انت لحد الحين ما صرفت اي شيء، ما صرفت فلس واحد. فتبي تسوي investment. Doing that investment to tell you what will be your expectation or expected worth of that project. ما بقول لا والله انا بحسب حق الفيوتشر بشوف كم يصير عندي في الفيوتشر. It will be always under the present worth only. لا بتحسب الانيويتي ولا بتحسب الفيوتشر worth ولا بتحسب rate of return. With the independent projects it's only present worth. So the purpose of this chapter is to enable you to determine the logic used in capital budgeting method. The logic used in capital budgeting method. How to use the present worth analysis to select from both of them are the same, equal life independent projects and unequal life independent projects. Fortunately, the good thing in here that you are not going to do LCM. The LCM, it's only with what? With this mutual exclusive project for present worth and future worth. That's it. Only with those two. If they are of unequal lives, you need to do LCM. But in here, no. You don't have to do it. It's not required from you. And even if you are going to do it, the same answer you are going to get at the end or the same selection. So it will be a wasting of time to show it in an LCM or to use an LCM. Investment capital represents a scarce resources. Scarce resource اللي هو أشياء موارد محدودة. اللي عنده 1000 يمكن الثاني ما عنده. That's why they call it scarce resources. Not everyone have million. That's why it's limited resource. With some people, with some persons, it's limited. That's more than one project may be funded. More than one project. To do more than or to select more than one project under this resource. The manpower, they are resources. The machine, they are resources. The capital, which is the money, it's a resources. And that's what we call independent project selection. So what is this independent project selection? A set of projects, 2 or more are independent. Set of a project, 2 or more are independent if the cash flows of one project do not in any way impact the cash flows of any other project in the set. What does it mean? Some businessman, he wants to start a business or a plant to take share and say, for example, الاوتوموتيف الكار industry صناعة السيارات. To do that, it's better not to go for any industry that related to cars. For example, batteries. For example, tires. Why is that? If anything happened, say for example, you are in a country, no one is using cars, and you are investing on cars, you are investing on tires, you are investing in batteries that belong to the same car or for the cars, the automotive. At the end, if no one bought a car, so no one will buy tires, no one will buy that battery for the car. That's why it says here the cash flow of one project do not in any way impact. إن ما يتداخلون ويا بعض، إن ما لهم علاقة ويا بعض. بس هي in overall. You are not going to go through this. يعني مو مطلوب منك later on to tell which project that's good project to select and there will be any interference between the two projects. No, it's beyond this course. The selection of one project in the set does not impact to accept or reject any other project in the set. يعني ما بتيجي تقول لي والله أنا بختار project A, but if you select project A, you cannot go for project C. To say that in any way, you don't have to do it. Selection of one project in the set does not impact، ما بيأثر على اختيار البروجكت الثاني إلا عقب ما نشوف what will happen. Okay, we have different projects. Say project A, project B, project C. Let's say those 3 projects that you are going to select based on certain calculation, based on procedure that we are going to see it in a while. What is this A, B, C? ما بتقول والله أنا بدش في project A, then full stop. I'll go there later in project B, full stop. Then I'll go in project C, full stop. No. Each one of them now, or those 3 together, A, B, C, will be a bundle. رسمة من المشاريع. يمكن سمعتوها بالعربي، رسمة من المشاريع. The term bundle represents what? The collection of projects, like what we did in here. ABC, the 3 projects, they are accepted. So within the budget, so we can go with those, we can accept them. What we call them? We call them bundle. حزمة، رابطة. The term bundle represents the collection of projects selected for a capital investment. What is that capital investment? Which we mentioned it here at the beginning. The money or the budget, which is the scarce resource, a limited resource that is going to be identified to you, and from the beginning, you cannot exceed that money. In addition, والله ما صار عندي اختيار هني، ما قدرت اختار ولا واحد من البروجكتس. None of them. And still you have money. ايش بتقول؟ انت الحين الاناليست، انت المستشار مال الشركه، ايش بهم؟ والله ما اخترت ولا مشروع، ولا مشروع ينفع. ايش معناته؟ قطوا بيزاتكم؟ Throw your money away? No. Do nothing. Don't waste your money. Don't go for any of those. We are going to look for another project. So do nothing. Do nothing. DN. هاي كلمة واحدة دي. Do nothing. Together. DN. Together. جاية من هني. In addition, the bundle might be a single or a number of options. We can select only A or only B or only C or A and B or A and C or A, B and C or B and C, whatever projects that fit our budget and increasing our wealth. The highest positive present worth. If not, this is one of the options available. Do nothing. Do nothing, one of the options available. In addition, the bundle might be a single or a number of options selected for a limited capital investment. Do nothing is considered a bundle. Do nothing considered a bundle. Now, let's start. To do the calculation, the capital budgeting problem had the following characteristics. Selection is made among what? Independent projects. Independent projects. يعني مشاريع ما لهم علاقة ويا بعض، ما يتدخلون ويا بعض. الكاش فلو مال المشروع الأول ما يتدخلوا المشروع الثاني. We are not going to compete. خلينا ناخذ example of buying a car. If you have money and you want to buy cars, if it is for your personal use, you're going to buy only one car, only one. Why to go for more than one? Select one and only one. That will be a mutually exclusive project. But if you want to start a business for renting cars, which means here you're going to go for so many cars to fit your business within a limited budget available. So those cars will be at the end independent projects. Selecting one car will not affect selecting the second one, the third one, the fourth one. What will affect here? The budget available. Each project must be selected or rejected as a whole. ما بتجي تقول لي لا والله عطني partial of that project. ما بدي شو وياك، بدي شو وياك بس في ربع البروجكت هذا وخلي ثلاث ارباع حقكم انتم. Leave the other part for you. Partial for you. Like buying bottle of water. You are not that thirsty, but you want to drink little water. You cannot tell the person or the cashier or the cold store, no, give me just little bit of that bottle and keep the rest for you. Either to take it all or not. An investment limit symbolized by B. هاي البي which is the budget. هذا البudget available. هاي investment limit. We'll see it later on a lot. The objective here is to maximize the present worth of the net cash flows. To maximize present worth of the net cash flows. In capital rationing, the present worth analysis does not require the assumption of equal service between alternatives. وهذه قلناها من البداية. Do not require the assumption of equal service between alternatives. So what, it doesn't matter if one of 3 years, the other one of 7 years, the third one is 5 years. It doesn't matter. We're going to treat them similarly to find the present worth for them exactly like what we did with or what we practice with equal lives. All positive net cash flows of a project are reinvested at MAR from the time they are realized until the end of the longest live project. ايش معناتها هذه؟ So for example, what you select a project A that will last for 6 years. Project B, which will last for, say, 5 years. And a project C, you select them all as a bundle, will last for 9 years. The 3 are within a limit, which is B. Within our limit, which is B. What to do? What you're supposed to say now? How much will cost us to invest in those 3? the initial cost for the first one, initial cost for the second one, plus an initial cost for the third one. مجموع الثلاثة خلينا نقول مثلا طلع 45,000. Our limit, the budget available with us, it was 50,000. قالوا لنا عندكم 50,000, you can use them to invest in so many projects to increase the present worth. What we'll do here now, our investment is 45,000. How much left? You need to do leftover. سجلوها عندكم هذه. Leftover. And here we equal to the difference between the two in here, which is $5,000. $5,000. This the leftover. هاي الباقي اللي تبقى عنا من our limit. من البادجت اللي كان معطينا اياه. 5,000. What to do with this 5,000? هني بتي نقطة اللايفز. 6, 5, 9. Which one is the longest life? 9. What to say now? That 5,000 reinvested at Ilmar for nine years. Why 9 years? لأن خلال الفترة هذه أنا بكون مشغول بالمشاريع دي. إذا حصلت أي project to include with them here any other project at the beginning it was not listed with them, but you found something else, you can add another project later on. We're not going to do with that, but just to mention, reinvest that amount at MAR, the same MAR that we have it in our calculation in here. For how long? For the longest period. So it can be 3 years, it can be 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, up to 9 years. From where we take this number from the life of the bundles, the longest life of our bundle. Hope that's clear for all of you شباب. أتمنى أن يكون هاي واضح حكم كلكم. Is there any question for this? Fine. Let's see the procedure. The procedure to solve a capital problem using the present worth of equal life and non-equal life. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Say now, for example, you have a project. أو خلينا ناخذ مجموعة projects. We write them here. I have project A, project B, C, D, E, F. ما شاء الله وايد projects بتصير عندنا. Doesn't matter. The first cost. For project A, let's say $3,000. طبعا يمكن cost, this it means this is negative. For the second one, $5,000. In here, $4,000. D, $8,000. E, $2,000. And the last one, just to put any number, $11,000. Come to something else. How much is budget? What budget available with us? The budget given to us 10,000. The budget given to us $10,000. And of course, by the way, show up. Each of those, you need to do the cash flow diagram for it. You may have different series on that, shifted series and whatever. It can be straightforward, or something complicated a little bit. So what to find? You need to find the present worth. No, sorry, not here. You need to find the present worth, the first cost in that. Then you need to find what? The present worth. Okay. Before finding the present worth, notice what it says in first step. We'll go by step now. Those 8 steps, very important. Step number 1, it says drop projects. We are calling them now projects. Still, they are projects. They are not competing between each other. Drop projects beyond the budget. This is our budget. So which project to be dropped?
F.
Project F. Thank you. Project F will be dropped. Why? Exceeding the budget. So that dropped. We're going to drop it. Why? Exceeding the budget. Then it says drop project with negative MPV. So what does it mean? We need to calculate now for the MPV. Calculating the MPV for each one of them. First one, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Don't waste your time to do it here. Don't waste your time to find it for that. Why? Because from the beginning we dropped it. It's exceeding that at 10,000. Let's do the calculation. Like what we did in chapter 2 and chapter 3 to find the present worth now for each one of them. Say for example, the first one, it was 7,500. Second, of course, now it's positive. It has to be positive. Second, 3,700. Negative 10,000. مشكلة خلينا الرقم كبير. With that one, let's say 4,000, and that one negative 200. Now we've finished with the first one. Let's see the second step now. What to do after calculating an MPV? What are we supposed to do now? Jawab.
Drop negative.
Drop negative. So which one to drop?
C and E.
C and E.
Sorry, C. This is drop. Y drop negative MPV. And E negative NPV. What is left? We have project A, project B, project D. الفيرست كوست بس عشان نجمعهم ويا بعض 3,000 5,000 8,000 7,500 here 3,700 4,000 the MPV, and here the first cost. This for second step. Now, third step. When we put them together here, what we call them now? Create bundles. Now we want to create bundles for what we have in here for those 3 projects, A, B, and D. The rest disappear. That gun, and that one gun. Left with A, B, and D. What is a bundle? Create bundles. How many projects left? How many projects left?
3.
3 projects. If you come now to that, those 3 means that M equal to 3. 3 projects left equal to 3. 2 to power 3 will equal how much?
8.
Equal 8. So we're supposed to have 8 bundles. 8 bundles. 8 رزم. من الثمان ذنين we are going to select only one. Out of those bundles we are going to select only one. احنا الحين حولناه انه يكون selection بس على شيء واحد. But each bundle it can have one project or multiple projects. Now let's see the bundles. Each one of them considered now as a bundle. Bundle A, bundle B, bundle C. Sorry. D. A, B, D. What others? المفروض يكون عندنا 8 bundles. So what other bundles we supposed to have? أشوف مين فاهم النقطة هذه اللي قلناها من شوي. What other bundles we can have? يا أخي غلطة وقولوا أي شيء بالغلط.
دكتور غير الترتيب.
شلون؟
يعني مثلا A B بعدين B D.
قصدك together نحط اكتب A B و together؟
يعني ناخذ A B كبندل واحد و B D
Yes.
كبندل ثاني. كذي نسوي 8.
يا A D لا بصير 8 للحين. A B A D. This the two bundles. We have B D. And we have A B D. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. أنا إذا ما اخترت ولا واحد منهم شنو المفروض أختار؟
Do nothing.
Do nothing.
Do nothing. قلنا دائما يا شباب do nothing it's one of the alternatives. واحدة من الخيارات اللي دائما تكون موجودة عندي. الفيرست كوست اوف do nothing زيرو. الام بي في اوف الفيرست do nothing زيرو. إذا بغير الحين حق اللي قبل. Now we've done with this. Includes that do nothing as a bundle. We've did it. Now it says here drop bundles beyond the budget. بعد مرة ثانية بنرد نسوي شيء ثاني الحين. Bundle A. What is the first cost? We need to look for the first cost for all of them again. We know the first cost for A 3,000, for B 5,000, for D 8,000. AB equal how much?
8,000.
نجمع
Just add them together. 8,000. جمعنا 3,000 زائد 5,000. ال AD 3,000 زائد 8,000.
11,000.
11,000. BD 13,000. ABD 16,000. It do nothing. We said it's zero. هاي الفيرست كوست. اتعب روحي وراح احسب مره ثانيه معنا تحسن شلون بحسب الام بي بي straight forward but I'm not going to waste my time to do it for those projects that we are doing to drop because of what? Exceeding the budget. The bundles that going to exceed the budget like what? Which bundles will exceed the budget?
AD.
AD, BD, and ABD.
AD, BD, ABD. It dropped. Why? Exceeding the budget. Exceeding the budget. أكثر من 10,000. We are lifting now with A, B, D, AB. Come to MPV. MPV. احنا حسبنا الام بي في حق الاي، حسبناه حق البي، وحسبناه حق الدي. موجودين عندنا، انا ما براح اعيد مره ثانيه الحسبه اللي سويته. 7,500 3,700 and the last one 4,000. Now come to الAB will equal to what? ما براح اسوي الكاش فلوس حقه مره ثانيه واحسب الام بي في. So what to do in here? What to do for finding الام بي في؟ فكروا شوي، فكروا شوي.
يمكن نجمع ال MPV مال ال A وال B.
Right. That's right. That's it. Just add them. لأن احنا حاسبين حق ال N حق ال A كم وحق ال B كم. Just add them together directly. How much will be?
11,200.
11,200. Calculating MPV for each bundle. We've done this now. Select the bundle with the maximum MPV. Maximum MPV. Between what we have now, which one is the maximum? From here.
AB.
AB. So select bundle AB. That's what we are going to do. Select bundle AB. With the present worth for it, with the present worth, that will give us 11,200. Notice how much is that number? The first cost, how much for AB?
8,000.
8,000.
How much was the budget?
10,000.
10,000.
What does it mean, شباب?
صافي 2000 كذي.
مو صافي، هي يسمونها left over.
Left over.
left over. بليز شباب استخدموا هاي الترمينولوجي، يعني مو انا اللي بصح الاوراق كلهم. كل سؤال في one of the instructor will correct على حسب الترمينولوجيز اللي موجوده. حتى في الكتاب نفس الشيء موجوده الترمينولوجيز هذه. left over here will equal to $2,000. What to do with this left over؟ ايش بنسوي left over؟ خلينا نقول مثلا حق الاي كان اللايف مالها احنا حاطين اللايف، لا ما كتبناه هنا. اللايف حق الاي خلينا نقول مثلا 6 سنوات، حق البي 4 سنوات، حق الدي 3 سنوات. 6 4 3. شلون نكتب حق هذا الاي بي؟ How we are going to write it for الاي بي؟ هل نكتبها 3 سنوات 6 سنوات ولا 4 سنوات؟
Maximum.
الماكسيموم اللونجست.
6.
For we are going to invest there for 6 years. Now, what to do with that 2,000? Reinvest at MAR. موجودة هنا. Reinvest in MAR or at MAR for how long? For 6 years. أي the longest between a selected project or selected bundle. هذا آخر part. في أي سؤال على دي؟ Okay. What we did in here exactly, you can see it from this example. Go through that example for equal lives and unequal lives. This step by step, it will show you what to do. Go through it, do the calculation, and check if you can do it by yourself or not. Then we'll need to do for the second one of unequal lives. We'll solve the problem inshallah next lecture. I'm going to stop in here.